Hey, this is Chad over here at MB Quart. Today we're going to be working on this 2017 Polaris RZR. We're going to be installing a MB Quart Polaris 10-speaker audio roof system with the large light bar as well. As far as the features, we'll get into that more in a little bit. And now we're going to talk about the tools required to install this roof. You're going to need a drill, a 3/8" drill bit, an assortment of Torx screwdrivers, a ratchet and a 10mm socket, an assortment of hook tools, and you're going to need some type of grabber tool, either a vice grips or a hemostats will work. Whenever working on your vehicle, you always want to think about safety. Make sure the vehicle's turned off. Remove the key. I always put it in my pocket for safekeeping. The vehicle also needs to be in park, and then also you want to remove the negative terminal of the battery. Before unboxing the roof, we got to do a couple modifications to the stock visor assembly to get ready for the installation. The first thing you want to do is remove the 4 screws, 2 on each side from the vehicle. So to do that, you just use your Torx screwdriver and actually remove the 4 screws. Once this is removed, what you want to do is take your drill with your 3/8 drill bit and enlarge the 2 top holes. After the clip and the holes have been drilled out, you can actually reinstall the visor. And then you can reinstall the 2 front screws. The next step is to actually remove the roof out of the large box. One thing with this, get someone to help you, is it is light, but it's large in size. All right, so now that the roof has been removed from the packaging, one thing that we need to do before we actually mount it onto the vehicle, we have to remove the 2 rear screws on the roof to get ready for the installation. If your roof comes with the light, it's actually the rear light mount screws. Now that the roof has been mounted onto the vehicle, a couple key things that we need to do before we're completely done with the mounting process. First thing is, when you're lifting it on, make for sure that the rear clips are around the rear bar. The next thing you need to do is drop your screw that you removed out of the light bar, back through the light bar mount, through the roof mount that we actually drilled out, and put the nuts on and tighten them up. The last part of the mount is actually placing these backer plates up in the front here, which will actually sandwich the roof, the visor, all together and give you a nice secure mount. So the next part of the installation is actually to pass our power and accessory and ground wire down to the bus bar. So we're going to pass it through the tube. We're going to use the pre-existing Polaris hole on the top, and it's actually going to come out at the bottom of the roll cage. One thing that you might want to consider is taking a small piece of wire and passing it up from the bottom of the tube to the top of the hole and using your hook tool to actually pass it out, so you actually have a pull wire that'll help you with pulling this wire down. Now that the wire's been passed through the tube, what we're going to need to do is remove the hood, remove the 2 screws to move the speedometer cover over so we can pass the wire through the cabin. So the next step is actually pass the wire from the tube over top of the glove box and then come through your rubber grommet right here at the front of the firewall, getting ready to make our connection to the bus bar. The last part of the connection is actually making your bus bar connection. So the main 12-volt power is going to go to your 12-volt bus. The ground is going to go to the ground, and then we also need our switched ignition or accessory wire connection. Now that we've made the connection to the bus bar, we can reassemble the front. So you want to slide your speedometer cover back on, install your 2 screws, and then put your hood back on. We always get these questions asking what these additional wires are coming out of the audio roof. That's a really good question. They're actually the audio signal and the remote turn on for additional audio equipment like the MB Quart Polaris Extreme Audio Pods, or also the lock and load 12-inch additional subwoofer. Now that the roof has been mounted, secured, and also we've made all of our main power connections to the bus bar, we can reattach our negative battery terminal of the vehicle, and now you can actually power up the roof to take a listen to it for the very first time. We're going to run through it and actually give you some of the features of this roof as well. So some of the key features with the Polaris roof is, the first thing is the roof. It's actually engineered with a very lightweight design. So with that, by adding this to the roof, it still keeps your center of gravity nice and low. This roof here actually has a 10-speaker audio system. So there's 2 6.5-inch components in here, as well as a pair of 6x9s right above your head. And there is also a 300-watt amplifier built into the roof as well to power all 10 speakers. The radio, it's an AM, FM, Bluetooth, USB, auxiliary input radio. So with this radio, you have endless possibilities on source units while you're out on the trail. Also with this roof, we have a built-in dome light, and also, like I said, this roof is the top of the line roof, so it does have the light bar already mounted. The switch to turn the light bar on is right here as well, so it's a very easy, convenient spot. Here's how to pair your phone with the MB Quart Polaris radios. First thing you want to do is go to Settings, Bluetooth, scroll to the bottom, and look for your devices that say Polaris or discoverable for Polaris. Click on Polaris, and it'll actually say connected. On the radio, it'll say connected, okay. Just a couple key features we want to touch on right before we leave. Every time after you're done riding or before you go out riding, make for sure that the roof is nice and tight. This roof, it is loud. You're out pounding on it, so you're going to be able to hear it nice and easily. If you want to take a look at this, go ahead and head over to your local Polaris dealer. Otherwise, also head over to Polaris.com. We'll see you out on the trail.